Alright, hello. What I'm doing right now is I'm just looking for some good reference images. We're going to try sculpting Hanzo. Looking for some stuff where I can see the shapes of his face really well. We also should grab some high-res stuff. That's pretty good. We're just going to do his face, so we don't need to worry about it too much. Let me know if you can see, or if you can hear the sound. Audio. No problems going on. Can grab this, I think. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's going to be super good. Perfect. All right. Put this up over here. Let's take a whack at this. All right. We're going to start from a sphere because I'm bold like that. Before we get started, let's set up the camera here. 90. Let's grab a good mat cap. Very nice. Alright, we're sculpting Hanzo. Oops, I lost my reference image here. Neato. Alright, let's get started just blocking in the basic shape of the face here. I'm using a couple plugins which I am not super comfortable with yet. Well, I'm going to be using some add-ons, not plugins. One of them is the Sculpt kit on the Blender Market. And it has this nice tool shelf. It's pretty nifty. Dynamic topology. I like how it brings out a lot of those features. Let's actually, before we get too far down here, let's drop in some of the other pieces here, like a neck. Necks are good. I'm just going to block it in. Nothing too detailed. And then let's bool that. It's one object. That's pretty good. That gives us the geometry that we need. And what the heck, let's just add like a little bust as well. Nothing too complicated. Good. Good enough. Apply that. And let's do that. Okay. Dynamic topology gets turned off whenever you do stuff like that, so you have to turn it back on. Alright, Hanzo. Let's take a look. He's got a pretty gnarly chin there. By gnarly, I mean pointy. Just gonna block in some of the basic shapes here and see how it goes. This is my first time trying to create these basic shapes without any a lot of the time I use like a blocking bust that someone else has made. I've tried a couple, but this time we're gonna try doing it without that. We're gonna go make our own. Oop, turn on accumulate. Carve out some of those eyes. Basic shapes here, nothing fancy. Alright, and let's take a look. Sculpting for me is always just like this process of back and forth, pulling in some details, and then looking at where you went wrong and correcting it. And I can see that we're going to have to figure out the shape of his face a little bit, but I think we're in a good spot to start. That's pretty good. That's better anyway. Okay. Oops. Go higher detail. Part of this is going to be figuring out how much of this is chin and how much of this is beard, which is going to be an exciting process. Just start blocking out some of these muscles. And then we'll come back and take a look and see what we need to adjust. Very nice. Alright, let's take a look. I'm going to turn off collapse because I want to keep the details that I have. So now that I've got a little bit more detail, or the shapes in, I can start modifying. You can see that his face is a little bit taller. his jawline is a little bit, yeah. Whoa, that was too much. Try a little less there. You always appreciate some of these characters a little bit more when you try to sculpt them. You can see the shape. You pay more attention to the shapes that are going on. And I'm doing that right now. There's some. The way his face is put together is really nice. I'm gonna drop this mouth down just a little bit. You can see that actually I need to pull this whole thing up just a little bit. That's that process of adding those details and then taking a step back and seeing where you're wrong. And adjusting. That's a lot better. Sure. Here's the reference picture that I'm going from. Well, I'm going from a couple different reference pictures, but this is the main one that I'm looking at to take a look at. I don't. Maybe I should. Keep it in the picture, but I'm not sure how copyright stuff works with that. So I'm just gonna play it safe. Why am I not? Oh, I'm just set to collapse. I'm to subdivide as well. Too much. We're going to be going back and forth a little bit with that to figure out how exactly his face is going to be working. That's fine, that's the way the process works. Trial and error. His neck is too small. Add a little depth there. His jaw needs to come back just a little bit further. What is that on his forehead there? That needs to come back. I'm starting to feel the shapes of the all the muscles of the face, but I'm not quite feeling the Hanzo part. Quite yet. We'll get there. His nose needs to come down just a little bit more, I think. Sup, Ben West? How's it going? I'm going to be adding a separate object for the facial hair, and that's part of this plugin that I have, and I'll get to that in a little bit once I or add-on in Blender, I guess. Yeah, but this add-on that I have has a nice feature for easily separating pieces like that, which is nice. You can basically, it lets you paint on the model and then like extrude from it, which is pretty nifty. It's actually a thing that's pretty standard in the ZBrush, but is not default in Blender. The other thing that's hard is it's hard to see what faces look like without facial hair, so we should actually probably be moving to that quickly. Look at that, the strong line there. It's beautiful. This needs to be pulled in just a little bit more. That's starting to feel a little bit better. Let's get into this nose. I always exaggerate noses way more than they need to be. And it's tough with stylized characters like this anyway. So we're going to see if we can do it in one go. Probably not. I shouldn't even say that. If I say it, then you can hold me to it. Oops. cut into that, watching for the shape of the muscles. Okay, I like where we're going. Let's emphasize some of the shapes here. Okay, so let's smooth that out. That's starting to be pretty good. Pull in here, get the nostril shape. And this is actually going to match the crease of the down to the mouth here. So we have to watch for that. Okay. So what we have going on is some crazy shape building up here on the nose. If I scoop that out just a little bit, I can pull it out here. And this nose is just tilted down just a little bit too much for my liking. So once I have the basic shapes here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the facial hair so we can start getting a sense of the shapes, and then it'll just be a process of going back and forth and back and forth. So it's hard to do the eyes without eye objects, so I'm going to go grab some, just rotate it, scale it down, not too much, because we're doing stylized characters. That's alright. Mirror this. I'm going to mirror it using the sculpt as a center. Rotate it out just slightly. Eyes are tricky. I'm going to stay here, I think, and get into it, because we can always change the eye shape. That's not that big of a deal. Just cut out some eye holes and build up some eye lids, I guess. Cutting out the bones and the muscles here. That's a crease. Keeping an eye on my concept art on the other page. Keep me rooted. Add some bones going on up here. I'm starting to see the character here underneath this. Still got some work to do though. Oops. Once we get the facial hair in, it's going to start looking a lot more like him. I accidentally flattened out some of the face shapes there, which I don't want to do. All right. Oops, that was a little bit too much there. It's fine. We'll just fill it in. Nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and start blocking in the facial hair so that we can get a better picture of this. And I'm going to use this plugin. What it allows me to do is, if I use the mask tool, I can mask out some hair. Yeah. I'm going to make sure it's extra thick because it doesn't work very well with light geometry. And then what I can do is go extract mask. Whoa! And I can just pull that out and smooth it down. Whoa, check that out. That gives me a whole new object there. And then I can just go into sculpting this guy. I'm going to inflate it first because, again, not having geometry. Excuse me. And we're just going to block this in. We're not going to spend too much time detailing yet. Add some geometries, move it down a little bit. Alright, well, we're going to shape it just a little bit, I guess. Actually, this is going to be a problem with the eyebrows. Maybe what we'll do instead for the eyebrows is just project some geometry. I think that will be better, yeah. But we are going to do this for the face, or for the facial hair. Clear that mask. We don't want that mask anymore. looking at some reference here. Okay, probably not this far up. Probably just like right there. Okay, and then extract mask. Give it a good bit of depth. There we go. I'm just going to immediately scale this down. Push it in just a little bit. Get it to intersect the face. Turn on topology again. Let's take a look. What a disaster it looks like. Just with the extracted geometry. That's okay when we start getting into it. It'll smooth it out. Looks like the geometry isn't quite mirrored here. So exercise that. Uh-oh. It's starting to collapse the geometry on itself. That's not good. Get out of there. Alright, we're going to have to do a little analysis here because I think we're missing some shapes. going to take a look in just a minute here. This needs to be a little stronger right here. What's kind of nifty is this shape right here. The curve of this comes up into his nose. In a neat way, it just kind of extends that shape. In a cool way. Coincidences like that just make the, it's not a coincidence, it's super designed. Just makes the model tasty. Alright, let's see what we got going on. Definitely think that jaw needs to be pulled back just a little bit. I think the eyebrows need to be, or that, yeah, the brow needs to be brought out a little bit as well. Yeah, let's do a little bit of that right now. This brow needs to be brought out. Whoops, I'm gonna take off this. Actually, I'm okay with it collapsing a little bit, but I want to keep a little bit of this, so I'm just gonna up that, yeah. And that is gonna not sync with the brow, so I'm just gonna manually move that back. The distance from the bridge of his nose to his eyes is actually pretty deep. Just gonna cut in there. And his nose has a little bit more of a almost looks a little bit like Liam Neeson. Nice. I'm liking the look of that a little bit more. That's starting to work for me. I'm seeing that I think his beard is just a little bit different than what I have here, which is fine. I'll just go and change it. Just looking at overall, I feel like it's just a little bit tall, maybe? If I just scale it just a little bit. Okay, I like that a little bit more. Let's apply that. Alright, this is starting to get there. Once I go back to his eyebrows. And here we don't have to be super precise because we're just going to use a shrink wrap to project it back onto his face. Just want to get the shape. Alright, and I'll shrink wrap that. Just offset it just a little bit. A lot of solidifying stuff. And of course the good old mirror. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink wrap it with an offset below the surface and then use the solidify to project through. I feel like it's a little nicer that way. Okay, we're going to do another looking at the shape. It's just a process of blocking and analyzing, seeing what's going on. Oops. Repeating that process. Whoa, that's right, I turned the dynamic topology resolution up. I don't need that high anymore. What do you think, Ace? We're going to see a little more Hanzo? Some of these shapes going on here are kind of weird. Oh, too much. That's really far forward. It's in the pretentious eyes. Yeah, that sounds like a Hanzo. This good old flap of skin right there. Watch that, dude. What's up, Robert? How's it going? We're just seeing how badly we can mess up a Hanzo sculpt. Actually, what this is called is starting from scratch and trying to figure out things on the way, all along the way. Whoa, messed up the eyes there a little bit. That's okay. Because that's what sculpting's about. Robert, I know you were asking me about custom brushes, which I hadn't, when you asked me, I hadn't messed around with custom brushes at all, but since then, I've actually played around with a little bit of custom brushes in Blender, and I haven't gotten very far with them, but I'm kind of excited to play around with it. It seems like there's a whole bunch of stuff there that could be really fun to mess with, especially in like skin materials. There's a whole bunch of like skin pores and stuff. Obviously, ZBrush has a whole ton of stuff like that, but I found some textures for Blender that seem like they could work pretty well. So we're gonna give that a go. Not today, but at some point here. Nice. I'm liking that. Let's come back to this mouth. Give it a little depth to that. It's not Hanzo unless he has angry lips, right? All right, I'm starting to be a little bit more confident in the shapes here, but just gotta figure out some of the details. Gonna come back to this beard for a second. I think I lost a little bit in the eyes there. Let's come back to that. You found some good brushes for hard looks. Dude, if you can find those, you should send them over. That is always I wanna try some of that out. See what's going on. ZBrush has such a market on like different kinds of brushes. It's really funny. They've got brushes for hair, all sorts of stuff. I'd love to try out some different stuff for Blender. That'd be a ton of fun. Just going along in these shapes, trying to match them as best we can. Ew, that's some nasty geometry down there. Just smooth that out more while we see it. Get out of there. Very nice. Okay. I'm starting to dig this. Let's do the scary bits. Hair and ears. Actually, there's one more muscle shape that I want to pull out here on his face. Oops. He's got some kind of this the top of his what is that? Cheekbone? It's kind of flat. Whoops. Just want to pull that shape out just a little bit. I think I want to flatten out his forehead just a little bit too. Popping out of sculpt mode, there will update the this guy. Go back in and smooth it out a little bit. Oh, whoops, I'm increasing that. Oh, gosh. Well, oh, heck. That's okay. Nice thing about sculpting is it's always an easy fix. You just have to know what you're doing. You just have to know what you're trying to do. The hard fix is when you don't know what you're trying to do. That's when it's a little bit of a problem. Alright, I'm gonna mask the eyes so that I can pull that eyebrow or the brow up just a little bit more. That probably means I need to build up this cheekbone just a little bit too. Like so. But I'm going to continue this shape on top around. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that. Just trying to make this angle on this nose a little bit nicer. Yes. I'm kind of sculpting him with an expression on his face, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, but we're just gonna spend a couple hours, like whatever, an hour or two on this. So it's not that big a deal for today. All right, skin flops. I'm not sure what's going on here. I think this has to be pulled back. Make that nice and crisp. Make the shapes clear. That's the important thing. What I'm doing is creasing a line and then smoothing it, and what it's eventually doing is building up the shape that I want to build. Nice. And let's just pull that out to there. Hey, I'm liking that. I'm liking the look of that. I'm gonna pull in the eye sockets just a little bit. And pull this in as well. And I'm actually going to resize the eyes, I think, based on this new eye socket. If I can, maybe I won't be able to. Nice. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Oh, I think I have to modify the shrink wrap. Near a surface point, now we're going to do project, and then negative, positive. There we go. Just looking at the shapes. The only thing I'm not convinced by is his jawline. The only thing that's super bothering me at the moment, anyway. Yeah, I shouldn't say the only thing that's bothering me, because who knows? Maybe it's all wrong. Whoops. Just moving stuff around here, seeing what happens. If I pull that forward, does that work? If I pull this in, how does that work? Well, let's go ahead and add the, start blocking in some hair. And we'll come back to it and see if, see what's going on. The way I'm going to do hair today is just some geometry, maybe some solidify. And a subsurf. Nothing too complicated, just to block it in. We don't want to put a whole lot of energy into this. If I was gonna do like a finished sculpt, I would do probably, or if I was gonna put some more energy into something, I would probably do something with curves maybe, or try sculpting it. But today we're just going to do something. We're just going to block it in today. What is this hair? I feel like this is the first time I've looked at his hair like this. He's got these spikes that come out. Pretty funny looking. I'm not putting a whole lot of energy into this, so this is probably not going to be super great. I'll take a look and see what we can salvage it. I think this is too much, maybe. Before I do this, actually, I think I'm gonna just sculpt in a little hair mat, hairnet, just by extracting with that tool. Oops. That'll give us a base to work from, because I could see already that I was getting lost in some of the shapes, because his hair is going to come up like right there. Up. No, that's too far. Up right there. Cross. Like so. That'll give us a good base. I should probably drop some sort of veneer in there too. Extract, not split. And smooth that. And we'll just scale this down to intersect with the head. I'm not going to mess with this too much. Everything's spread out. Come on back. Because now we can bring this forward to make that. And let's separate here. This piece out to add that. Turn off the mirror and add the iconic hair swoosh that he has. There it is. Look at that. Pretty great. You appreciate some of these shapes a whole lot more when you build them. I'm just appreciating how great this swoosh is. It's such it's a thing you don't really think about too much, just because it's the way the character looks. But when you're building it, it's like, what the heck? It's so ridiculous. I love it. Very nice. Alright. I think we are actually going to get into sculpting on this guy, because why not? Just going to inflate it and make sure that it has enough depth so I don't get any like sculpting through. With the clay brush, I've noticed you can sculpt through it a little bit, and that's super annoying. So we're going to try to just make sure that it's thick enough, and we're going to be careful to watch out for that. Push it back in. Alright, and let's just get into this. I'm going to turn the dynamic topology detail down so I can get a little bit more shape. Then I'm going to change the curve for my hair, or for my brush. Maybe a little bit more spherical. Yeah, that's probably it. Just to block in some of these shapes. Give it some texture. We're going to have to look at his little ponytail too. We'll get there in a second. What am I doing? Clay. That's right. I actually don't know how his hair works in the back of his head. Does it just like What does the back of Hanzo's head look like? I don't think that's a question I've ever thought about. Just looking up some imagery. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't think I can push too far in because of the shape of his head model. I think we're gonna end up doing that a little bit, and I'll just pop into the head. Oh. Just to change that a little bit while we're here. Uh-oh, I'm getting dragged down here. Trying to fix his silhouette. No, don't get lost. I want to change these shapes. Just a few more minutes. Just a few more seconds. It's all right. Ugh, what is going on there? That needs to be fixed. I think his whole neck there just needs to be pulled back a little bit. All right. Don't get lost. Ah. Okay. We're almost back on track. What I'm going to do for the ears, I think, is grab, just because I don't want to get into the ears, I'm just going to grab some stand-in ears from the model I made yesterday. Don't get lost in the ears. It's a wise wisdom, little wisdom there. Don't get lost in the ears. Unless you need to practice the ears, in which case you need to get lost in the ears a little bit, but that's not what we're going to do today. Alright, let me grab, I'm going to save this actually. Oh shoot, I just realized that I haven't saved this at all. That would have been bad. Good old blunder crash. Alright, save that, and let's grab some ears. Ears from Reaper, the Reaper that I did yesterday. Just going to copy these and paste them in. Nope, go away, Blender. Where are you? Wow, it's a bit different of size. I'm going to just delete one side and just mirror it. Because that's the kind of people we are today. We're just mirroring kind of people. Whoa. They're really crap ears, but do you know what? We're just not doing that today. We're not getting into ears today. Nice. And those should be moved across nicely. Good enough. Good enough. All right, back to the hair. Did I lose dynamic? No, I didn't think so. Still got some dynamic topology going on. Oh no! That's what happens when it sculpts through. Ugh, I don't want that. Is that just the last? No, it's the last couple. I'm gonna undo a bit, see if I can fix that. I'll just sew this object and try to fix it from the inside. Yeah, it's pulling, so what it's doing is it's pulling the geometry from the inside out. And just can be a mess. So I'm just going to use the inflate brush on the inside to keep it away from the outside mesh, because we just don't want to deal with that. I would like to think that there's a better solution for this, but I don't know of one. Maybe if anyone has any knowledge about that. They could share it with me. All right, that's a bit better. Although you can see that it messed up the shape on the outside as well. Just the way this works, but that's fine. We can fix that. That's not a big deal. Oh shoot. One of the ways to work around this is just to use a smaller sized brush, because I think it's the radius is wider than the width of the object. Oh boy. Fixing this problem is not what I want to do. Now you can see we got a little bit on the outside. Sometimes what I do when I have this problem is I just do a Boolean and add an object in. All right, this is fun. Woot, woot, woot. Yep, we're still good. All right, there we go. Almost there. Safe, I think. Pretty good. All right, let's get back out here and fix what that messed up. Remembering to use a slightly smaller brush. Than I have been. I'm just moving things right now, so it's usually fine when I'm just moving it. But when I start messing with it here, now I'm gonna make sure that I'm staying so much. And even there you can see it kind of push through a bit. I think we're close enough for now that I can worry about it too much. little bit more geometry. ZBrush has some really nice controls for this with the pressure. You can change the curve of the pressure so that you can get a little bit more natural hair flowing. But we're just gonna make do for now. Just gonna fake it. Got it where we need to. All right, let's just smooth this out and get over to his little ponytail. I think it's a ponytail, unless it's something else. Is it called something manlier? Just smooth it out. The only we could try is doing a little bit of make a little custom brush and see if we can add some like hair detail. We'll think about that. We'll think about that. Sometimes that clay brush doesn't work and you just have to get in there and use the inflate brush for some of these shapes. That's good enough for now. And then just add a little bit of smooth this out back here. Not too much because we don't care too much. We're just going to add the amount that we care, which is, to reiterate, not too much. That all could be worked out a little bit better. But that's fine. It's fine for now. Alright, let's take a look at his ponytail. How does this work? I'm just going to add, what we're going to do, I'm just going to add a little torus, that's fine. Default torus. Look at that, that's special. We're just going to add some Bezier curves. I'm just going to do it this way. Double depth. resolution. Whoop, make sure that it's set to full. Very nice. Now what we can do is add one more vertex. You see? I don't know what it is for Bezier curves. Point. It's a little bit more width. And then brilliant. Love it. Yeah, and let's just duplicate this a couple times, rotate it around. I'm actually going to rotate it with that being the position, the axis, that's the word. It's kind of a little bit of a weird shape there. Not entirely sure how to deal with that. It doesn't matter too much. Oh, hey. Nice. Thanks, Robert. I'm going to check those out. I'll take a look and see what's going on there. That's fun. That's super fun. I'm excited to take a look at those. Especially if it's hard surface sculpting in Blender is a bit of a disaster. Alright, just a couple more here. And I think we'll start wrapping up. I think one more just in the center. That's pretty good. All right, so to wrap this up, what we're going to do is we're just going to add some basic materials and lights and just render it out. Nothing too complicated, just enough to get a cool render. So let's look at the camera first. Let's get the camera in a good spot. Get that focal length. We're going to do a square render because square renders are best for Instagram. That's a secret. It's a little tip for you. I'm going to make sure that this looks good from this angle. And to do that, we're going to adjust this here just a little bit for the camera. Yeah, that's a little tasty. And just this hair, just a little bit for the camera too. I just realized that he also has like, it's not just this one piece of hair that comes out. There's like a split. Kind of like that, maybe? Nice. Get rid of that skin, that material from the other model. So I can see, I like the shape here of moving forward, but when I get to here, we've kind of lost it. I'm just gonna tweak that a little bit, see if I can pull that that shape around so you can see it. That's better. That's a lot better. A little bit too much on the shoulder here. Yep, get those shapes looking nice. Very good. There we go. Nice. Okay. Let's just do like a basic, your basic 3-point Latin setup. I always use black body temperature for light colors, just because I feel like it gets us something a little bit more natural. 5600 is daylight in Kelvin. That's what I think Blender is white balanced for. So what I usually do is I do fill, backlight. And backlight I usually do a little bit stronger, just a kick. Give it a kick. And then I do a circle for the, oh no, it's main, fill, and kick. Is it? Isn't it? Is it? 3-point lighting. 3-point lighting. Here we go. Key light, fill light, and backlight. So the key is the strongest. That's this guy right here. Well, it's not in this setup. It's not necessarily the strongest. I will make it a little bit stronger now. Key provides the basic shadows. Backlight pulls them, separates them from the background. And this is the fill. And what I do with the fill usually is I'm going to use an object, and I'm going to set it to emission, low. That's fine, because what I want to do is use this as a reflection for the eyes. And to do this, I'm going to just add some eyeballs in vertex paint. Or some pupils, I guess. Maybe yeah, make it a little bit stronger, sharper of an edge. Yeah, that's good. I like that. And you can just use vertex paint in Cycles material via the attribute. Default is COL, capitalized. Drop this in, make sure that it doesn't have any roughness because we want it to be sharp. And now we should be able to see this highlight in here somewhere. Yeah. Okay, I'm realizing that this is not going to work because this needs to be over here for the reflection to see it. So we're going to set up this eye light first. That's the first thing we're going to do, and then we're going to adjust the lighting. Because the eye light's the most important, you know? Eye light is pretty darn important. Kind of breathes a little life into your character. Need that going on. I think I see it here, but I've lost it on the other eye. This for me, there's probably a better way to do this. I don't know how to do it. I'm just sort of guessing. I'm just going to adjust the strength until I kind of like what's going on. That's pretty good. Maybe make it a little bit whiter. Yeah, that's tasty. Very nice. And for right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to add some, we're not going to be super, we're not going to make a super in-depth material. We're just going to add some color variation. Call this hair. Just so it's clear what you're looking at. Add this to all the hair objects. We lost a little bit of lighting over here just because of the luster fill, so I'm just going to rotate this around a little bit. Maybe a little further. Alright, maybe I need to bring that strength down. I'm going to exaggerate the shape of this a little bit as well. Alright, do you know, there's one last thing that's bugging me, is the shape of his jaw, which I want it to be just a little bit sharper from this angle. And I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal, so do you know what? I'm just going to do it really quick. Whoa. Whoa, just a little bit too much. Oh, geez. Are we going to get into this? The shape of this is a little bit weird. Alright, we're gonna give it just a little fix, just a quick fix. Because I want this to be kind of a straight shape all the way back to that spot. That's where that strong Hanzo jaw comes in. Like a little Hanzo there. Yeah, that's a lot better. Just that little fix, I think, made that way better. Nice. Cool, and let's give this a principled shader. Just a little bit darker, just to give it a little bit of variation from the eyes. Let the eyes pop just a little bit. Nice. That's not the worst thing that I've ever sculpted. I think we're getting pretty close here. Let's double check. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and set this to a smooth material. Make sure all the geometry is smoothed out. Just for now, because we don't need that extra details. We're going to go ahead and, well, there's a couple things that I want to change before I render here. I'm going to turn on dim noising, because you should always turn that on. That's actually not true, don't always turn on it. I'm going to turn all the bounces to 4, because I don't need those. And in Simplify, I'm going to set AO bounces to 2. I think that'll be good. Save, and let's hit render. Thanks for watching, guys. I think we're pretty close to being done for right now. It's not a perfect likeness. I think if I was gonna fix it, I would bring a little bit of the shapes here and like strengthen that jaw just a little bit more. I think that would help. I think there's a little bit more defining that could happen on his face as well. Whoops. But do you know what? It's pretty good. So that's the story. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for watching. If you liked this, or if you had any thoughts, let me know. If you didn't like this, let me know, I guess. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you around. Thanks. Cheers.